So observing the trends in television from the 1960s until now, what do you see happening with the internet over the next few decades?
I think it's inevitable that certain things are going to die off and be replaced. 15 years ago, when the internet was relatively young, AOL was the big thing. Now, AOL is a joke. My guess is that by 2030, Facebook will become a joke. It's already, I think, people are getting sick of it. There are things like Twitter and Instagram. They'll also be replaced by other things. Twitter, for example, is dropping its 140 character thing. Although I did hear on NPR the other day, I get to listen to the radio at my job where I'm driving around. Uh, it's dropping its most distinctive thing. You know, there are people who've written short stories or tried to even write books based just on Twitter posts and linking them together, and as if writing wasn't bad enough. Um, but technologically, I think the internet will be seen in a much better light than just the navel gazing that people reckon with it now. Because without the internet, you wouldn't have things like ebooks, and ebooks are the future, good, bad, or indifferent. Uh, a child born, say now in 2020, by the year 2050, when they're in their uh, late early adulthood, they will probably not have any physical paper books on their shelves. They will have, hopefully, those that even are enthusiastic about reading will have libraries of books. Hopefully, there'll be great books, some of the free public domain books you can get on a Project Gutenberg, which by that time will have books going up to the 1950s. So you'll get a lot of great American literature there that will be free, and hopefully it will usher in an age of an appreciation for great writing. I do think that the internet will have an opposite effect to the Twitter effect of making things dumbed down and small. I think as the internet progresses to what a lot of people call Internet 2.0, as people get these, like people have Bluetooth things, as people eventually get like things maybe implanted into the side of their brain, hookups, I think people will want to read longer works. I think people will be bored shitless by reading little farts, little 140 word character things or other little things. I think people will have the ability to store data and process things in different ways than we have now. And I think long books like the Vincetti brothers or Norwegian in the Family will be what novels were 100 years ago when they were 100, 120,000 words, that most novels today will feel like short stories, or just little aperitifs. They will want longer things, things that do things in different ways. So I actually think, for example, my own writing, for example, is something that's prefiguring things that are going to come in the way people process art and literature and information. And I think the internet will help facilitate that. I don't know the particulars since I'm not an engineer, but I think that's where things look like they're trending. Um, as far as writing, that's really the only thing I can comment on. How the internet will affect things in science or technology, space advances, things in medicine, I can't say. But in the arts, I think it will be an ameliorating thing. In the short term, it's probably a negative. But I think as as things progress and people get more used to things and it gets more integrated into their lives, like many things, I think there will come a golden age of the internet. That hasn't happened yet. There has been no golden age of the internet the way it was, say, people talk about the 1940s or 50s in television. There hasn't been anything that has yet sparked great art, and that's what golden ages really devolved down to. Golden ages in science and art. The internet has yet to do that, but I think it likely can, and most likely historically that the trends are that it will. It may not, but I would say 90% or better that it will, and probably by mid-century. So I think the 30 or 40 years that art has stagnated since the 1970s, mid 70s, early 80s, when film and television and literature and music, in a large sense, all went down the tank together. I think by the middle of this century, we'll be coming out of it, just as we came out of it 100 or so years ago with the rise of modernism in various art forms. The high modernists, in a sense, rescued American literature and American art, and in a certain degree, world art, after about a 40 or 50-year stagnation from the time of Whitman and uh, uh, what's his name, Baudelaire, and the mid 19th century, some of the higher arts there. The You had a little bit into the 1860s and 70s with some of the impressionists, but that was sort of an outlier. But so I ultimately I think the internet is a good thing, and it will benefit art, but in the long run, not now.